Welcome, everybody. My name's David Frieder. I'm the Executive Director for the Australian Bridge Federation. What we want to do in this session is just take you through the marketing material that we have been developing over the last couple of few years and putting onto our website that is available to all clubs and bridge players around the country to utilize to help you with the promotion and development of bridge across the country. Nikki and Georgina work for an external organization called Blaze Marketing. You can see their logo there on this screen. They have lots and lots of experience in marketing between them. I've worked personally with Nikki for many years. And they bring some professional skills that we don't necessarily have ourselves as bridge players or bridge clubs. And that's what we see the ABF being able to do and facilitate, is to provide this sort of support. In a follow-up session to this one, we'll start garnering your ideas and thoughts on what more we could be doing in this marketing space. But in the meantime, this session, as it says on the screen, is a Marketing 101 session, just giving some basics in terms of what's available. If I could ask you all to put yourselves on mute, that would help, so as we don't have the background noise, but there will be opportunity for you to ask questions. Those of you who have just joined, if you could also put your email address into the chat, then we'll be able to send you the information. And at this point, after 2 minutes, I'll hand over to Nikki. Thanks, Nikki.
Thanks, David. Welcome. I'm Nikki. This is Georgina. As David said, we are Blaze Marketing. But Georgina and I both had a lot of not just corporate experience, but both of us work in volunteer capacities and other capacities in clubs and organisations in the sporting community across a variety of sports. So we absolutely understand what it is like to be a volunteer or a person that is, working on committees or boards or things within clubs, and how little time that you have and how hard it is to get stuff done. So today we're going to talk about where we're up to with marketing and things. Move this on. Move on, George. Okay, so today what we're here to talk about is some of the things we're going to be covering. Why we're here today, the role of marketing in bridge, leveraging ABF marketing, how you can boost your own club marketing, and then we're going to have a short Q&A at the end to ask a few things. We don't have a lot of time, but what we've then are going to be asking you to do is fill in our survey or feedback form, and from there we will get your information. You can ask questions and we can come back to you from there. And we really would like your input on what other marketing would be useful to you. Once we've talked to you about what is currently there and what we're thinking is going to do next, we'd love to know how we can actually help you a little bit better. Okay. So why we're here today, the ABF is investing more in marketing support to help the clubs. We have marketing to do for the ABF itself and bridge overall as a national sport, but we also want to be trying to add some value and help the clubs to operate. So the reason why that ABF is doing that, we want to promote bridge more effectively, save time and improve consistency, particularly for areas where, it is a lot of volunteers. So we want to make marketing easier for volunteers and committees, help you grow, retain and engage members, access some practical marketing resources that hopefully can help you take action, and build a stronger, more visible and sustainable clubs. So this is just the beginning. We're going to keep developing tools and resources and campaigns and templates from here, hopefully with a focus on trying to help you power up your marketing. Okay, the reality of running a bridge club is always challenging. So clubs are often challenged by limited volunteer times, limited budgets, competing priorities, marketing expertise varies. Some people have a lot of marketing expertise in their club and some don't. And as like most committees and things, there's always a turnover. So you need to be, a lot of that intellectual knowledge goes as the people turn over within your committee, and you need to have sustainable ways to have and processes to be able to help carry that on so that as somebody leaves or you're handing it over to the successors, they know what they're going to do and they have access to everything that was done before. So how is the ABF supporting clubs? They're trying to help save time and improve the consistency, build marketing infrastructure, increase your visibility and awareness and your brand consistency. One of the big things with your brands, and that you'll see a lot of people who are doing more amateur marketing and DIY marketing, is that the look and feel of everything is often very different and at different levels. And it's really important that you keep that consistent all the way through. For people to get a share of mind, they need to see the same thing over and over again. You don't see, for example, the McDonald's, the golden arches, you know, with a pointy M or a blue M or whatever. And if you did, you would start to not have that same awareness of the brand. So this should hopefully help some of that. Be able to access the marketing expertise and support from Georgina and myself. We're hoping to provide some marketing, practical and actionable tools and templates, help you guys take action and get your marketing happening, and support you most particularly to grow and retain and engage your members. Because after all, you know, that's a big portion of what you need to do. The thing that we want to say to you is that the goal is not perfection. The goal is just practical progress. If you try to make it absolutely perfect, you can have 1,000 iterations of something and it never actually get out. And sometimes things are quite timely. So it's better to have something that is, you know, 3/4 of the way and out there than nothing at all. So why marketing matters, particularly for clubs. Marketing helps clubs attract new players, retain and engage your existing players. It's got to be sustainable, help build that community connection and belonging. One of the things that keeps coming across, I've been doing a lot of strategy workshops in different sporting associations and organizations lately. And one of the big things that people say why they join is consistent across, doesn't matter the sport, doesn't matter if it's able-bodied or disabled. The biggest thing was about having that connection and feeling a sense of belonging. You know, they want to be part of something and like they found their people. So building that community connection and belonging is important. Supporting growth and long-term sustainability of the club or state territory. Promoting lessons and beginner programs, that's the beginning of your pipeline. So having a solid pipeline and pathway through, you really need to always make sure you're taking care of the people at the beginning and how are you going to be attracting them. Develop your brand identity and build that awareness, as I was talking about earlier. Supporting all your events and activities and congresses, and increasing your visibility and impact with your marketing. So one of the things I did want to like just quickly point out here, we're not going to go into strategy really in this deck because it's more about a tactical, actionable things that we can do to help you. But really strategic marketing, planned marketing saves you a lot of time. It will save you a lot of cost in wasted marketing efforts that don't go anywhere. And also they'll have a much greater impact. So taking a scattergun approach and just doing a whole heap of marketing and just trying things because you think that that's going to be successful, you would be better off to save your time and focus on one marketing objective. Like pick one thing that you want to work on, like right there above you is a whole lot of bullet points. You can't do everything all at once. That's the one thing I find it hard. I always try to bite off more than I can chew. But at the end of the day, you want to pick one thing that you can focus on this year. For example, maybe it's going to be your attract new players, or maybe it's going to be promote your lessons and beginner programs. Not to say you can't do a few other things on the side, but try to stay focused on your one area, and then you'll end up with a whole lot of projects and activities underneath that one objectives. So you don't want to have to do so much that you're not going to achieve it. Start with something small, pick one area, one focus, and just keep bringing everything back to that. Is this going to align with the objective? If not, I'm going to put it in the car park and I'm going to come back to it. So simple, consistent marketing is usually more effective, particularly in club-based organizations, than occasional big campaigns. It doesn't have to be a huge, big, expensive campaign. Doing small, simple things is a really good start and a good foundation for where you go from here. So the role of marketing within a club, it looks at we look at marketing across this kind of life cycle, regardless of the organization that this is for. But these are some of the stages that people will work through in marketing. So you want to attract them. What are you doing at that attract stage for people to know what's happening or at least get their attention? What are you then doing to engage them? So how do you get them to actually pay? So from an attract perspective, something pops up, let's just say, for example, in my Facebook, and I see it. That's great. Now, how you want me to actually engage with that? You want me to click on it, read it, find out some more. So that's like the next step in it, is to make me be engaged. You want to educate me on what's actually happening. You know, that this is Bridge, this is why it's great, this is the benefits of it, this is how I can join and start with Bridge, answer some of my questions. And then ultimately you want to convert me. So whether that's you're getting me to sign up for a beginner lesson, whether I'm coming along as a social member to try it out, come to the club, I'm already a Bridge player. You want me to come to a particular event or a tournament. So that's my conversion stage. And you do need to have a call to action or something there to get me to convert. So what is it you want me to do? Register for lessons, attend an event, you know, visit the club, inquire, become a member. And then the last couple of stages are retain. There's no point in, if we're filling the top of the pipeline with loads of new people coming in, but there are loads of other people are dropping out the bottom, it's not really going to help us. So we need to make sure we've got both ends covered. So we want to be covering that we're bringing people in, and then we want to also be covering how we're retaining our current members. And then ideally, if the members that we're retaining are really happy, then they go on to be a referral for us, an advocate. They're going to go and refer and bring other people into the club for us from there. So the ABF resources, marketing resources and initiatives and things that we have been working on and will continue to work on have been designed to try and support you across these stages. We might not have filled every area yet, but we've tried to put something to cover each of those stages. And some of the toolkits, for example, might cover a few stages or might have pieces in it that try to cover a number of the stages that are in there. Okay, so now we want to talk about what we've actually got for you to be able to use and how you can leverage some of the ABF marketing. So I'm just going to hand over to Georgina to explain about the new Marketing Hub.
Yeah, so some of these materials have been available via the ABF website for some time, but we've taken the opportunity to actually do a little bit of a refresh and make sure that all of the materials are in the right places. So if you were to go to the ABF website and click on the marketing tab at the top there, you'll now be able to see what you can see on the screen is the screenshot, which is the homepage for the Marketing Hub. Within that Marketing Hub, there are 8 sections currently. So we have the marketing campaigns and toolkits, which we're going to go through a toolkit in a minute. And in that Marketing Hub for the campaigns and toolkits, which we encourage everybody to please go and check out once we've finished on the webinar. So there is actually a lapsed player toolkit. There's a renew your membership toolkit, a job ad promotions toolkit, a learn to play Bridge toolkit, and a benefits of Bridge supplementary assets kind of container that has a lot of the things that you could use to promote the benefits of Bridge in a templated way. We have also now got the ABF branding and assets available. You will need to fill out a form to be able to get those assets delivered to you, but it was in the effort to be able to, if you were running an ABF licensed event and you wanted to use the ABF logo, that it was available for you to access. We've also got, and this is all continually evolving and we'll continue to build out the materials. We've also got marketing signage and materials in the Marketing Hub. We've got some event promotion and organizers information that is currently actually being built out further to support the materials that are in that section. We've got sponsorship and partnership information. We have some marketing news and tips, and we've got the marketing support requests section of the Marketing Hub, which is probably going to be the most useful area for now, because that's one of the best ways to get information through to us so that we can find ways to support. So included in those marketing support requests are things like if you wanted to get something listed on the website, or if you wanted to get something put on the ABF social media channels, those forms are located there, as well as the general marketing support catch-all type of form that if you need something, you can't find it, please fill out the form, we'll receive it, and we'll try to come back to you as soon as we can with what we can do to support there. And we're also building out the PR and media section of the Marketing Hub.
There is one more section 9, but we didn't put it here because it's really just a marketing archive where we have put some of the older things that were there before in case they need to be referenced back to. So that is there, but it's not an inactive area for all of us. And as Georgina was saying, this is really just a foundational iteration of the Marketing Hub where we have restructured it and set up some of the things that are available, but there is still lots of areas for us to continue to fill out that we will do, and we'll be continuing to update it and be dynamic as we go.
And part of that will be, we would like this to be informed as well by the feedback that we get after this webinar today. So for example, it's very useful for us to understand from a marketing signage and materials perspective, what template or collateral piece would you find the most useful for your club? So we have some of that covered off in our post-webinar survey. So that's how we would like to continue the evolution of the Marketing Hub. It's with the feedback as well that we'll get from after we've had the webinar today.
Yep. Perfect. So all the things in there are ready to use marketing materials. We have started putting things in the marketing news and tips that are also like, there will be tip sheets and stuff, but we're also putting in software and other things that we recommend, which we'll talk about in later on in this presentation.
I think the biggest message about the Marketing Hub is that going forwards, this would be the first place to go to try and see what marketing materials are available. So hop onto the Marketing Hub, take a look, have a poke around, see what's there. Yeah, let us know how you go.
Okay, so other ways that you can leverage marketing support from the ABF? So one is that you can go to the Marketing Hub and you can use any of the ready-made templates and toolkits and other things that are there, or put in a request for some support through the forms there. The other one is that you can, how else can you leverage this national support? By leveraging the channels available to you from my ABF. And ABF's been great at, as we keep building out more channels, they will make them a little bit more accessible, but they are very supportive of the clubs for you to be able to put information forward and for us to be able to amplify those out through the ABF resources. So some of the places that you can get some support, obviously the Marketing Hub. The other one is the ABF website. Things can go up in the news section or other areas depending on what you need to put up there. Or as we said, there's a job posting ability there. For example, that little toolkit and some editable templates are in the toolkits guide if you have got a job going in your area and you want to post that up. The ABF newsletter, on the ABF social media channels, so on Facebook, etc. If you are putting something up, then you can post it there and we can do it. My ABF through emails, on the YouTube channel if you have a video, and then our national campaigns and things which we'll be rolling out should assist everybody as well. The only thing that I'd say about that, and I think actually this comes up again later, is that the more you can pull it all together and be really efficient and give us everything that we need in one go, the more chance you have of having it amplified through the channels and being able to be done in a timely manner. So our time is really restricted, and so is the ABF's. And so we need to be able to, if you give it to us all ready to go, it's a whole lot easier to push it out through one of the channels that's there.
And some of the best ways to do that is, again, through the marketing support forms, where we've got the forms with, for example, if you wanted something put up on the ABF website, there's a website listing form available there, which will try to gather the information that we require so that we can actually execute the request. And
for example, one of the things that we did last year was we did a feature like promotional video on one of the clubs. So, you know, if you were able to fill in the form and give us all the images and stuff for around your club, then we would be able to convert that and put things like that up. Or if you had a video that you guys did yourself, then that could go up as well on YouTube and get pushed out through social media. So how can you leverage those ABF channels and submit content? So as I said, the more complete and ready to go your content is, the easier it is for the ABF to review it and potentially promote it. So you need to get your story together. You need photos. If you have photos of people, please make sure that you have identified who the people are if they need to be. For example, if they're winners of something, a photo of 4 people, it needs to have the names put underneath each of the people in the order of the photo, things like that, so we can make sure they're accurate. Any key details like when, why, how, where are they going, what time is it, any of that kind of stuff is really important. The call to action. So as we spoke earlier, it's really important that you have a call to action of what do you want to come out of that. In one case, it might just be promoting, like your Christmas events or something, or a fun photo from the Christmas party or something. That's fine. Then really all your call to action is you're wanting them to engage with it. And you could even have a call to action at the end still to say, like, come and check out our club if you're in the area, or whatever you want that to be. In terms of that, you need to also make sure that if they need to fill something out, make sure the link is in it. I know these things sound obvious, but a link, a phone number, an address, however you, Google form, however you want them to contact you, put it in. I've seen an email come out from like Football Australia or something that invited everybody to something, and there was no link to actually click and go and fill it in. It seems obvious, but those kind of things are really important. And then make sure you have the contact person. So the contact person we're meaning is for us. So who should we talk to about this bit of content or this story or this marketing activity that you want us to amplify, so we know who to come back to. The other thing we want to say is that's really for your marketing promotion, but we want you to also share your stories at the ABF. Bridge is a warm kind of community, and it's one that people enjoy being part of. And while it is competitive, it's also social, but it's very people focused. So, help showcase Bridge around Australia and help us put out what's happening in all the clubs and things. So feel good stories are really important because people connect with people. So again, all those things we talked about, like your story, photos, key details. This might be a Christmas party photo or something funny that happened at Bridge, or just even a couple of people playing, Bridge one morning. So any of these examples, like Bridge moments, volunteer recognition, events, activities and results, a youth Bridge activity, a community story, maybe somebody's been with your club for like 20 years or something, milestones achieved, any of those kind of things are really great. So again, you can fill all those things into the support forms, and they are the best way only because they also encourage you to give us every bit of information that we are going to need. If it gets emailed to us, often we then have to go backwards and forwards a number of times to try and get all the pieces that we want. So that is there. You can email us if you need to at hello@blazemarketing.com.au, but I'd really encourage you to use the marketing support form so we get everything covered. The other thing that I want to recommend, and we'll talk about this again a little bit later, is tag the ABF. So tag the ABF so that we know what's happening and we can go from there. I can see we've got a hand raised, but we're going to, oh, David, do you want to say something? You can unmute yourself.
I think I'm unmuted, am I?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, just to clarify that what Nikki's talking about is what we're doing at the ABF level. There's a number of states and territories that are represented here through their associations as well. What we're talking about today isn't sidestepping them or trying to prevent any sort of promotion that happens at that level. The ABF just is keen to promote Bridge generally. So we'll do this alongside the states, whether it's just your club event or some beginners courses. We'll find a way of promoting all Bridge related stuff. Until there's a critical mass, we'd love to have the problem that we're getting too many requests for promotion, right? We'll deal with that issue when it arises. So just feel free to request everything. We may come back to you and suggest, well, maybe this is better to do at the local level or the state level or something like that, but we'll certainly help you with guidance on how you might do that.
Perfect.
Thanks, Nikki.
No, thanks, David. And that also comes back to that last part, which was about tagging the ABF. So even if it is going up in at the state level or somewhere else, if you tag ABF or use a hashtag, then it just makes sure it amplifies across ours as well as the state-based one. Okay. So one of the big things that are on the Marketing Hub is our DIY marketing toolkits and templates. We have a few that Georgina has mentioned that we have already created. We have some others that are still in the works, and we have plans for other ones that are coming. But this is where your feedback on how anybody who's actually used them, if you want to give us any feedback at any point, there is a feedback form at the end of every one of those. So you can tell us, oh, this was good or that wasn't good or whatever. This would be really, actually, just if we could just add this, that would be really helpful, that kind of thing. So that's great to give us feedback through those forms on what you think of the ones that are already there, but we're really keen to know what else you want to see from here. So I'm just going to let George quickly talk you through what's in one of those, our template toolkit thing.
Should we go to the next slide? So
Talk through these things.
Yeah, not all of the toolkits contain everything that's listed on this slide. However, the majority of them do contain most of it. So within the toolkits, there'll always be a how-to guide of basically how to use the toolkit. So that should be the starting point to go, right, I've looked at the how-to guide that might give me an indication on how I'm supposed to use all of the pieces that are within the toolkits. Where we can, we've tried to provide digital banners, templates for social media posts, which include the actual social media tile as well as the caption that you might want to post with it. In some cases and instances, there are flyers and posters, tip sheets. Potentially, sometimes there's been a concept of an offer, I think. And so, for example, I think in our Lapsed Player campaign and toolkit, we did have the concept of an offer of refer a friend to try and get people to come back, or maybe that was actually in the beginner's toolkit.
In both, I think they both have
bridge.
Yeah.
Some ad templates which are designed to be used in internal club newsletters or to be put in various formats. Sometimes we included some telephone scripts if we recommended that, for example, for the Lapsed Player campaign, to just be able to call people to go, oh, this is why we haven't seen you for a while, to just try and encourage that, to support those conversations, and some email templates to be able to send out. So our objective with the toolkits was to make them ready to use, easy to customize, designed to help try and save time, and so that you could download, adapt, and then share them for the purposes that you want to use the toolkits for. So for example, as a example on a page, the Learn to Play Bridge toolkit, there was the how-to guide. There's posters, flyers, and advertisements that could get printed off and be used. There was some emails and website banners and email signatures and a banner for Pianola. There was some email series and templates. There was some refer a friends resources, some social media graphics, and some benefits of Bridge things, as well as a marketing tip sheet. So the marketing tip sheet, for example, is got some information in there about how one might go about promoting their Learn to Play Bridge lessons in the local community. So worth having a look.
The other thing to say is we tried very hard to think about the different ways or capabilities of people. And we realize that everybody, has different capabilities. Some can use more intense software, some are at really more basic level. So within those toolkits, you get things in a variety of formats. So for example, the posters, flyers, advertisements, they're made in, say, a full page, A4 size, and they're made in half pages. Some of them are non-editable. They're already like in a PDF that you could just take and get printed at Officeworks or somewhere if you wanted to, or that you could just email if you wanted to. So they're digital and they're printable. Some of them are in an editable format. We've just made them in like PowerPoint or Word or something that you can just, we've tried to restrict where you can edit it so it doesn't put everything out, but it's so that you could just add your club logo or your club details or the event details, like some little squares to put some set things in. So, that we have tried to make them various formats, but we often have made the initial templates in Canva, which we will talk about a little bit later. But for people who are a bit more sophisticated and can use Canva, then, we can look at how we can share those. But otherwise, they should be there in a variety of formats for you to hopefully be able to use. And we'd definitely be interested in hearing how people go with that kind of thing. Okay, so the idea behind some simple marketing and things like some of the toolkits is to have one kind of master message. What is the one thing you're really trying to promote? You can't be all things to all people, or you'll actually be talking to no one. So you need to decide what's going to be your master message. What are you really going to be focused on and you're trying to tell people about? And then you want to be able to, you can use that message to keep it simple. You can then use that across a number of different channels. So you could have like your Facebook announcement post, you can have another Facebook one later, you can have a member email template, like an email to go out to your members. You could make yourself a printable notice board flyer that you stick around. Maybe you stick it on that same flyer on the back of the toilet doors. Maybe you put it on your notice board. Maybe you go out and put it on the community notice boards. You can have, website header banners, like tiles that can go up on your website that are changeable if you had a promotional area. And you can make like a last minute reminder post, social media post in an email or whatever that goes out. So you see it in a couple of different ways. So how can you boost your club marketing? So this one is about how you can do it at your level. So we wanted to redefine the club marketing for you. Yes, there is complex, sophisticated kind of marketing that big agencies and big brands and things do. But we don't need all that. We just want you to start small and just get started. At the end of the day, you just need to take that first step and do some more. Some of you might be further along in that marketing pathway and be really under control. Some people might have not really got any happening. So marketing is expensive. It can be, but there can also be ways of doing it in a more cost-effective, free or low-cost manner for yourself. For your club. You need to be an expert as a marketing myth. We're trying to give you some things so you can just do at a marketing 101 level, get started and have some simple, consistent actions that kind of matter. You need to have big campaigns to get results. Not always. Small repeated efforts compound and they can have some good impact and results. It must look perfect. Authenticity beats a polished approach, particularly in the environment of bridge clubs where you're trying to be, as we said, we're people orientated. People want to be part of that community. People are, they want it to be warmer and more personable and flawed and not totally polished and professional and corporate looking. One of the other myths is it requires a big team. One committed volunteer can really drive it. One person can make a really big effort. And I don't want to say that in the sense that I have been that one person and I know how much that can be on top of you. But and if you can build a committee around something that you're doing or get some more people to help you do it, it's great. But it just needs somebody to drive it. Somebody needs to start that effort and get out there. So not to say there's not a point where you will need some marketing budget and resources. Absolutely. For example, if you wanted to do some paid social media or something that's, an advertisement somewhere, some of that's going to cost. But what we're trying to say to you is there's still lots of things that you can do at a simple, cost-effective method. So if you wanted to promote one of your lessons or events or a club activity or something that's going on, you can use not only the ABF channels, but any other channel that is available to you. You need to put it out as much as you can. You need to stretch that activity, stretch that. We always say we want to stretch that marketing budget as far as you possibly can. So we want to stretch that one message, that one activity out in as many places as we can possibly do that. So you might, for example, put it on your Facebook or Instagram, whatever social media that you've got. You might send an email out to your members. You might get something up on My ABF. You might put something to promote it on your club website or an article in your club news section on the website. You could go out through community groups. You can go out through your members and get them, to post things out there get them to post it on their social media or email it to their friends or send a message out to their friends. Word of mouth, just starting to get it out through the community notice boards. Like a lot of the time, you go into the supermarket or the library or wherever, and they have those big notice boards up, and there's often things. So if you could print out one of the flyers and put it there, there's one, for example, in that Learn Bridge kit we just showed you that had the little, very old school, but still has all the tear off phone numbers down the bottom because, for some people, those things are relevant and they're free. It's not that hard to do. Have signage out, can you get an A-frame sign, sandwich board sign that sits out the front of your room or out on the footpath or anywhere that you can kind of get away with? We do talk a little bit of, I'm not endorsing anything on behalf of the ABF, but you can have a little bit of guerrilla marketing, put it out till someone tells you to put your sign away. Get some things out there, get some stuff on the notice boards. Local councils, sometimes the local councils will promote different events and activities and things. For example, in the holidays, that some of the councils will do, if you were targeting like Youth Bridge or something, they often have like a little holiday kind of camp thing, maybe a couple of mornings, so you could offer it like some bridge lessons through that. You could put things on their websites. They often have spaces on their websites.
Yeah, and what we've started to find is that quite often these days, the local councils are getting involved across all demographics. So they quite often will have activities that are council run or led activities that are targeted to youth or targeted to seniors. And so sometimes it might be that there's a seniors Tai Chi or yoga class that you can sign up to through your local council. So it's never a bad idea as a local club to go out and have a sit down with the local council to say, we are your local bridge club. We are a very welcoming community. Is there any way that we might be able to work together? And for example, if we found that that was something that would be of use, as we come back again to what the survey is going to contain, we can also help to provide materials potentially for facilitating those conversations. When we put schools, university, and community colleges, we're in Sydney and we happen to be quite near Macquarie University. And we noticed the other day that Macquarie University were running also like chess and bridge type of community-based for the university, those type of courses and lessons and as feeders almost to the local chess club. Or so sometimes I think it's just looking around in the local community and thinking about what opportunities might be there to promote and engage people in the game of bridge.
Yeah. And can you, like some of those examples Georgina just gave you, it's about saying, is there also opportunities, not for you just to promote it and run it and do everything yourself, but that you could partner with people, like those universities or colleges or somewhere else that can help you. Small actions can have a really big impact. A lot of people seem to think there's like one marketing silver bullet, one button they're going to press and suddenly loads and loads of leads and opportunities and people are going to come in. It's not always like that. Marketing has a compounding effect. So everything has to build on each other. All your small efforts will build towards a greater kind of whole. What we wanted to emphasize here is that every touch point is part of your brand and marketing experience. So whilst a lot of people think of marketing as just what's in the early stages of the funnel, so where you're just trying to bring in new people and attracting them and educating them, really you're marketing at all areas, because if you remember back to that marketing funnel I showed you, it had attract at the beginning, but at the end it was retention and referrals. So if you're not making sure that you're continuing to engage and market to your existing players as they go through, then that's not going to keep them on board at the end. And you want them becoming an advocate for you and referring you to other people. So we're saying if you're looking through like a life cycle of somebody coming, it might be something like the awareness, they're originally hearing about you, the interest, then you're looking at promoting the benefits of the game. Maybe then they're coming to a lesson, so your objective is to fill those beginner programs. They're coming for a first visit, so you want to make it a welcoming club environment. And then you're looking at membership and how you're engaging the players to join. Then you're looking at the next stage being your community and how you're celebrating and retaining those. And then eventually, hopefully, turning people into being advocates, so they will advocate for the game and for the club. So what is a really good exercise? I don't want you to be overwhelmed by this. All we're saying is that small actions will count and will add up over time. But as a really good exercise, it's nice to like look at all these stages in your life cycle and see, do you have something happening at each of those touch points that reflects back to, your brand or what your one objective focus is? Do you need to, or could you take one small action at each one of those stages? Can you just implement something small at each stage to try and still give everybody, market to them at each of those touch points so that they have a really good experience as they go through? Here's some simple principles to help with your marketing. And obviously it is very simple that we've brought it down to. But coming back to starting with your brand, as we talked about, having a consistent logo, having consistent colors, having consistent messaging of what your club stands for and what you're trying to say, so that people recognize your club, like the Golden Arches of McDonald's. Everything is the same. Not just from the logo on the outside, but when you go into any McDonald's anywhere in the world, they generally have the same environment and setup and furniture inside, the same clothing on the uniform, the same structure of how everything operates and works. Look at your audience. So know who you're reaching. A lot of people we find will write or put things in their marketing that talks to themselves, but you're not the target audience. The target audience is the person that you might be in this particular case, but you want to be talking to those people. Say, for example, you're promoting beginner lessons and you want people to come along. So you need to know who that audience is you're talking to, what are their pain points, and what are their drivers. When you're talking to those people, be specific. Don't try and make a piece of marketing that goes to everybody. Try to be specific if you can, so that the message resonates with the audience that you're talking to. Make sure the benefits and messaging are there. Don't just tell them details, but talk to their drivers. As I said, make sure the messages are relevant and beneficial, engaging and actionable. Make sure you have your call to action, which we talked about earlier. Make it clear what you want them to actually take. And then repetition. People need to see things 6 to 7 times before they're going to take action. So this is why we say encourage you to use every channel that you've got and to have some frequency, not so much that you annoy them, but enough that you will tell them what's going on and keep you front of mind. Because as I said, they'll be in the middle of doing something, they'll see your marketing come up and go, oh yeah, okay, I'm interested in that, but they'll come back to that later. And then they need it to pop up again later somewhere for you to go, oh yeah, actually, no, I did want to look at that. And then, so you need it in a few cases for them to take action. So good marketing is clear, consistent, and relevant. Oh, that's not right. Sorry, we got an extra slide. So one of the things that we suggest that you start with is to start building your marketing infrastructure or your marketing engine. And that's kind of a little bit like what our marketing hub is. We've started building the resources and things in there. If you can, and some of these things you've probably already got, or someone's got on their computer, and then, Johnny's got on his computer and Beth's got something else on her computer and someone else has got something else on their computer. So start to try and have a repository of information. These are some of the areas that we suggest people look at having within their marketing infrastructure, their marketing engine. Organizational essentials is really basic. This might just literally be a couple of different things in there, but like a Word document that has all the contact details, like it has the address, the email, the phone, the whatever, saved into a document that sits into that repository. So anyone could go in there and have a look. It might be the elevator pitch or the descriptions or things of the company that people can use. It might be one that has what all your social media links are and your website links and email, anything like that. Brand will be obvious things like your logo, style guides, any templates. Many of the other things are pretty self-explanatory. The only other things I want to talk about is software platforms, systems, and tools. We're going to go into this in a minute, but starting to have some actual structure around what software the organizations are using will help you. Will help keep it simple and keep everybody on the same track and make it easier to pass it on to successors or new volunteers and things that are coming on. Having a marketing engine means that you'll save time because people won't be redoing it all the time or having to go searching for all the information. They can go there and everything's in one place. Consistency, keep it all the same. So if you have 5, 6 people touching different things, everybody does something that looks the same. can streamline your processes and make handover easier for future committee members and volunteers. We will, and we have put some things in the hub and we will put some more, but we just wanted to give an example of some simple software tools that you could get for free or at a minimal amount that can be utilized for your marketing within a club space. So Canva is a design software that has made design a whole lot easier and has lots of templates and it's pretty easy to use, and you can get a free account. They do have not-for-profit discounts. And people can share designs. So we could potentially share a design that's made with the ABF to you, and then you could be able to edit and whatever. But for yourself, you can go and do all sorts of things. Social media graphics, you can actually make videos in there, web and email banners, advertisements, what have you. So if you're ready to give something else a shot, or you're already using that, Canva is a good option. ChatGPT or AI. So for writing, quick ways to write some social media posts or some newsletter content, or write up the content that you need for your email invitation for an event or whatever needs to happen, you could try something like ChatGPT, or if you've got Microsoft Copilot or Google Gemini, something to help you come up with those structures. Chat has a free option. Use your phone. Like you have it. We're just trying to have some simple tools that you've actually got you can already use. So use your phone to like take photos, take videos, interview people, anywhere you are. The quality that you get now from your phones is great, and that will really help you with content for your social media, for your website, for everywhere. So just take photos whenever you can. Google, now you might have another more sophisticated IT structure, but an option for some of the clubs and associations I've been associated with have had nothing, and everybody's got things saved on their computer and there's no central repository or email. So often what we might do is make up an email address that sits with the club and moves on to the next committee, and you can have email forms. You can use the Google Drive there and save things on there. You can use your Google Forms all in that one place through that one email address. You can connect it to analytics, that kind of thing. And then we were suggesting, and we will put more in about this, that Officeworks is a national printer. We can send some templates, set things up there. It's very easy. And Easy Signs is another one. Okay, so I'm running out of time. Marketing quick wins. One post is better than no post. So start small. Small actions will compound over time. Don't get overwhelmed by everything that we told you. Just start is all we can say. So one post is better than no post. One photo is better than nothing. It's enough. One reminder email helps. Reuse and adapt content. I grab ideas all the time from other places. Big global organizations and sporting associations have spent lots of money sometimes with, expensive organizations. You could take that idea and recreate it for yourself. You don't have to invent everything from scratch. Promote your benefits, not just the dates. So don't just tell them this is on and expect they're going to come. You got to tell them why they want to come, and how do they actually sign up to come or whatever. Build one repeatable marketing habit. So just pick one thing that you are going to keep doing consistently. So that might be, you go, I'm going to put up a social media post, just like one every week or two every week. Or I'm going to make a little calendar of posts, and there's going to be one a week for 4 weeks for that month. So for the month of July, I'm going to decide one or two things I can post each week, and I'm going to make them up in advance, and I can just put them in to schedule up at different times. The other thing I put on here was to say, measure one thing to see how you're tracking or how it can be optimized. So it's all well and good to just put things out there. But say, for example, if you put that post up on Facebook or Instagram, wherever you're going to do it, you're doing one a week for a month. At the end of that month, look and see, you can go into the analytics and check and see which post resonated the most, had the most engagement. What time of day worked the best? So you can use those to then optimize and make more posts that say line up with the thing that everybody actually looked at the most. Capture moments, not perfection. So the thing that I particularly actually wanted to say about social media, and we're coming back here, is social media is literally that. It's social. So it's meant to be authentic and genuine and social. People aren't expecting it to be absolutely precise and everything perfect. And in all honesty, sometimes the things that have gone the most viral have been mistakes, like funny wording, that just a typo that's happened, but it comes out as something funny. Funny photos, people popping up or something happening in the back of a photo. You think of the things that have gone viral around the world, and they're often the mistakes. They're not necessarily always the really polished, exciting stuff. So capture your moments and don't try to be perfect about it. Real club stories often perform better than the polished marketing. People want to connect. They want to feel that sense of belonging. They want to see really what your community and your club is like. I don't just want the stock images, because I want to know what that particular club is actually like that I'm going to go to, what the people seem like and what the environment seems like. So make sure you keep doing that throughout and just capturing any moments that you can. Don't worry about them being raw. Your brand culture and member experience are part of your marketing, and they influence retention and referrals. So creating that kind of environment and capturing it authentically is really important. So I mentioned this earlier, but don't forget to tag the ABF. So it's a small one, but if you tag the ABF or tag other people at your club, tag anyone you can that is part of what that post is going, you're going to spread how wide that can be amplified. Don't forget to use hashtags. Here's some of the suggested ones that ABF uses, but use hashtags for your club and use some of the ABF hashtags too, and your state hashtags to make sure that it's going out to everybody. So I want you to walk away thinking about what your next play is going to be. You're going to visit the hub, you're going to pick one toolkit, you're going to share a story, or you're going to we're going to set up a marketing alerts or marketing update email that can go out to people to tell you when something new is coming up, and give you some tips and things. So pick one play this week, one small action, and start. The hub will continue to grow. So now the foundational hub is live. We're going to continue to roll out more specific toolkits, templates, and event resources. And one of the other things that we're talking about in the future is some other topic-specific marketing webinars. If you found this useful and you want to learn about something specific like social media or making your marketing infrastructure or using Canva or something, then you can absolutely tell us, and we've got that in the survey and would love to actually hear that from you. So over to you, and I've got to work out how to unmute everybody. If anybody has some questions, who was it? Participant. You can unmute yourself too, to ask us anything. Now's the chance.
Well, I've got some feedback. If your toolkit templates really work, I'll be thrilled, because I'm the person who has the knowledge of, like, for example, we're getting ready to start promoting the ANC in Hobart next year.
Yep.
And I have all the knowledge, but I don't have the technical expertise to do the brochures and the flyers and the posters. So I have to wait for somebody within our club who has got that technical knowledge to do it, and it's a bit too much expecting him to do it all the time. So a template where with the ABF logo and all of that, where we could just fill in, cut and paste and fill in our own content, will be absolutely fantastic.
Okay.
And certainly, Julie, Nikki and George have been assisting the ACT this year with their ANC promotions. So a lot of the materials that the ACT or BFACT have been sending out have been getting some assistance from Nikki and George. So happy to do that for you. Both at the template level, but also for an event as big as the ANC, we can give you that specific support.
Great.
Any other questions? Thanks, Julie.
Nikki, just one thing. You mentioned a couple of times about having that consistent look and feel, and you used McDonald's as an example. McDonald's is a sort of huge corporate, and they look the same all over the world. In the bridge world, we're a little bit different in that clubs are unique. So bridge is the same all over the world, but how do you recommend clubs take that standard look and feel, but customize it to their own club and sort of present some sort of unique selling proposition for why they should people should join their beginners lessons rather than the club down the road?
Good question. So what I'm meaning by that, even by the McDonald's example, was I was meaning at your club level, that in that particular club, that everything that they're putting out, whether it's a social media post or an ad or whatever, has a consistent look to its club brand, or they can utilize our tools. We tried to make some of them quite generic, just blue or something, but you know, you can change some of the things to your club colors. So this is where, as part of your marketing engine, we'd suggest you actually set up like a little brand style guide part where you go, here's the logos, here's some, here's what our colors are, and they actually have a number to the colors so that everybody uses the same color. And then here's some of the
They've got a
templates.
little tagline, because I know that
Yeah.
some of the bridge clubs do have a little one-liner that sits like with it or near the logo. It's just to continue to use that, because that will also bring out the unique identity of each of the clubs. Because I guess from working on some of the social media, some of the different clubs do have their unique look and feel to their logos, and they also have a unique look and feel to how they communicate about their particular club based on where they are located. So yeah.
And that's what we're saying. That can be starting very small and very raw. Just open a Word document or a PowerPoint or something and just put in one document that you're going to save down somewhere in the central repository that tells everybody, you know, what the logos look like, put all the logos in there, what color you're going to use, and keep everybody using the same thing, because you don't want one person using green and somebody else is using pink. Like that's what I mean by club consistency.
Nikki, Georgina, this is fantastic. Thank you. Couple of questions.
Sure.
First up, I think some clubs do no marketing. And if that's the case, where do you think they should start? There's quite a long list here and it could be overwhelming. So what's the real one basic thing that you think they might do? And the second is, great for a club to differentiate against other clubs, but I think Bridge is really competing against other forms of entertainment. We're competing against Facebook or an online game or Netflix. So how to sell Bridge as an attractive option given other entertainment and pastime options?
I guess for the first topic, the first question, that's a very good one. I think one of the first quick wins that any club could take if they're doing no marketing at all.
Wait, are you talking, Jake? Were you talking a club that is doing marketing or a club that's doing no marketing?
Club that's doing no marketing. They've heard a lot here, and it could be a bit overwhelming. Where do they start?
I think the first thing to do would be to sit down with who's going to be potentially running or looking after the marketing in the club, and try and create a little task force to go, okay, we'd really like to do something based on the webinar that we just had. I'm the volunteer that wants to run that ship. Is there anyone else that wants to come on that ship with me?
I would
then
say
what the first
one objective. Just pick one thing. That's what we were saying. Like there's a whole list of things that you can do. So pick just one thing to do for this next rest of the year, the next 6 months, and say, right, we are going to do promote the beginner lessons, or we're just going to promote to encourage people to come to the club. Like pick one thing. And then if the toolkit's already lined up, I would go and start there, you know? So that would be where I would say start. Only because the objectives could be different for all different clubs. So I feel like they need to see what's going to work for them. And then pick that one thing. And it might be as simple as they're just going to go, I'm actually just going to build our marketing infrastructure. My one thing I'm going to do is get all the brand stuff together. So then as we do some marketing, we know what it's going to look like or how it's going to work. That would be where I would start. And then, sorry, what was the second question?
And for the second question, I think that what I would do is recommend that people look at the benefits of Bridge supplementary assets that we have in the toolkits and campaigns section of the Marketing Hub for now. Those benefits have been developed to try and overcome those barriers, if that makes any sense. So we're trying to say that this is a lot of it goes to the benefits of Bridge. Like, why would you come and play a Bridge instead of going and play mahjong down the road. Like it's a mind sport that keeps us active. We've identified quite a few of the key benefits and drivers for why someone might want to play bridge, and those are in the bridge supplementary assets.
And then also sit and think, what is specific to your club that differentiates from others? So, you know, what are the key differentiators with your club compared to other things, other sports, other activities? I agree with you, Jake. You're competing against other, it's like share of wallet, right? You're competing against all the other places and share of time where people are going to kind of put their effort. So you need to show the benefits that Georgina was talking about. We've put those into that benefits of bridge thing to try and show some of the reasons why you would come and do bridge. You need to tell them that. Showing why your club is great. And when we talked about the authenticity and sharing stories and making it seem engaging and warm and why people want to come there, and really working on what makes your club different. Why do I want to choose to come to your club over somewhere else? So sitting and working that stuff out early on as part of your brand exercise is really good to go, this is what we stand for. This is what's good about us. And then that just keeps coming out in all your marketing. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move on. If there's any other questions that we're going to ask you to please fill that in the feedback form. This is really a journey that we're all doing together. We don't want to be creating things that aren't actually useful to you. So, and if there's something that is really useful, we would love to make that if we can do that to help support you. So we really want to work with you to work out what will be the best things and the most useful and valuable things that the ABF can provide you for your marketing. We're going to ask you to put your feedback in, and I'm going to put that link. I'm going to get out of here.
Yeah, we've created a post-webinar survey form that we would really appreciate everyone that's been on the webinar to fill out for us, because what that will allow us to do is we've structured the survey to try and understand both what you might like to see in the Marketing Hub next, to get an understanding of what your key marketing challenges are at that base level. But we've also got some information in there that structures around what you would find the most useful for us to do next, as far as maybe it wouldn't be a webinar, maybe it might be a playbook or a how-to guide, but it's a lot of the information that we would like to hear back from is in the survey, and that's to help us inform our next move. Where do we go next? It's going to be the most value in supporting clubs in doing effective marketing.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nikki and Georgina. I think it's been great, the information that you've been able to share and the resources that you've been working on for the ABF. I think we're certainly in a much better place than we used to be in terms of being able to support clubs and associations around the country in the promotion and marketing of Bridge. So please, if you haven't put your email address in the chat already, please do so as we can get your response to and feedback to this session via the survey. And we will be following up with these sessions more often. It's been a little while coming, this particular session, because we wanted to have that core foundation of material to share with you so that you could utilize. Nikki and Georgina will continue to be engaged by the ABF to produce more material for you. And if you give us the feedback, then we can target that to your needs, obviously. So thank you very much. I'll be sending out a link to both the recording of this video, and also I'll provide a summary of what was discussed. If you hear about other clubs, it's funny that in a marketing seminar, I'm sharing that our big problem is communication and being able to reach all 345 clubs across Australia. If you have friends that weren't on the call from other clubs nearby or other clubs around the country, people that you might have met at various events, please do feel free to share this information with them. I'll also be looking at trying to establish some direct communication channels with clubs. So you'll see some communications from me about that, hopefully in the not too distant future. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time. And thank you, Nikki and Georgina.
Thank you, everybody.